Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for another call today. Today we have with us Humaira Zahid, and Humaira Zahid is a HR professional. And without me having to introduce her a lot about herself, I will let her have the opportunity. So, Humaira, if you can kindly just get started by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Sam, for arranging this call under this COVID-19 situation. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you. As Sad mentioned, my name is Humaira. So I hail back from Pakistan, from Islamabad. I've done my master's in HR, and after that, I've been working in the HR space for almost 14 years. So I started my career within Pakistan with the development sector and the health sector, mostly in HR operations for around 7 years. And after that, I moved to strategic HR function with federal government. And those were the projects which were mostly on modernization and transformation. And I was responsible to do the org design piece of the organizations and a lot of strategic HR functions. And mainly I worked with the FPR. It was a donor-driven project for 5 years, and then I worked also with Auditor General of Pakistan, and that was a project funded by World Bank. So that was my experience within Pakistan.
Interesting. So, and I think in our conversation, you mentioned that you've been here for the last 3 years. So, how has your journey been up till now, and where are you currently working?
Okay, it's a long journey, but let me try to kind of make it fast forward. So I got my immigration back in 2015, and I did this in two pieces. Step one, I came here, did my landing, and I went back because I was working at a responsible role, and I wanted to do more research and be more prepared while I'm coming here. So it took me almost 1.5 years, and then I came here for good. And I did my research during that time. It's just I wanted to see where do I can plug in this experience which I have in Pakistan, and what kind of a scope, Toronto I can, or within Canada where I can plug that in. So when I came here for good, so I came pretty prepared. So my day 4 in Canada, I was in a bridging program. So I joined that bridging program because I thought, it's very important when you're in a new country to get yourself disciplined, right? Because you're coming from a job you're professional, you're working, and now you're in a new country. So what would I do? Just sit and apply online? So I thought it's better to get myself into a program. So that program really helped me in terms of, I would say, acclimatizing myself within the Canadian job market, seeing how things work, and interact with fellow people from all over the world. So I was there for 2 months. It was a good experience, and then I feel that I'm ready for the job market. So I started applying. And then it was a challenging journey because my field is mainly working with people. And when I say people, it's about the culture piece also. So, I feel that, organizations are reluctant to take me on board just because, I don't have any prior experience. Not only that piece, but also I sounded foreigner to them. So that's a very important piece because when we say Canadian experience, we really need to understand that what is Canadian experience. It's just not about your skills or competence or you haven't worked here before. It's more like how local do you sound, how culturally you're tuned in. Because organizations would be ready to take you on board if they feel like, oh, he or she is pretty much part of us. But if if you're speaking even the English we use back in Pakistan is Cambridge, right? Here is the Canadian English, and they have their own way of speaking it or their certain lingos. So those were the aspects I did. But during this 5 months, I would say it was a great journey. 5 months I was looking for a job, but it was a full-time job to look for a job. So, when we say, we are unemployed or in a job hunt process, so take it as a job also. That's why I always tell people, because that is an opportunity for you to learn and grow. So during that, I did things which probably I would never thought to do in the past of my 14 years in my life that, I won't be doing that. But, stepping out of your comfort zone, cold calling, asking for information interviews, and then going prepared for that information interview. It's just not, you say, I want to meet, but you need to be really focused. What do you want to do in that information interview? Because the quality of questions you ask speaks about you as a professional. So that is your, I would say, platform to shine. You're not going to get a job. You're going to, because you're inquisitive. You want to know what's happening in the job market. Research about the company, the person you're meeting, and if you're really interested to work in that organization, research about that company. Just look what kind of challenges do they have, what kind of competitors they have, and then ask questions accordingly, because this will give a message that you're just not only looking for a job, you're looking for something which is challenging, which excites you. So I'll pause here.
That's a very good summary that you have provided. It doesn't leave me any more room for any question, but I do want to ask one more thing from you, and that is regarding your volunteer experience. We talked
Yes.
about it. Why do you think it's important, and how have you been keeping yourself involved in all of that?
Okay, so one of the advice I received when I landed here that, try to volunteer. So now again, we have to understand when we say volunteer, what is volunteer to me? It's just not only that you're going and engaging yourself with an organization and they're not paying you, but you have to see it as a value proposition because when you are entering into that organization and just imagine, day one, you're meeting people, so you have that platform. It's up to you how you take it further. So I volunteered, I would say, with 3 4 organizations, and those were the organizations I shortlisted them because I really want to volunteer with those organizations which are close to my professional experience. And sometimes you don't get that also. I mean, that is a challenge because sometimes it's very hard to volunteer with public sector. But then I identified few organizations. So I would say staying focused is also worth keeping, even for volunteering or even for job hunt. Because sometimes when I ask people, what are you looking for? So the answer is, we are looking for any role. So you're asking for help, but you're not telling me where do you need the help, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's very important to be self-aware that stay focused when you volunteer, like make it a value proposition activity for you also or for them also. Try to show interest in the organization and try to go and volunteer at places which really resonates with your interests or your values or something because that reflects in your
perfect.
conduct, in your behavior, in your language. And just a short example, I volunteered in an NGO and they put me as a data analyst role. And I said, fine, let me see if I like, analyzing data. Day three, I went to one of the directors and said, hey, I'm a volunteer here. And, I'm doing this role, but is there an opportunity for me to offer my services as a volunteer because I'm more interested in change management and I can help you review or develop something in terms of these plans or things like that. So that you have to take initiatives because nobody's going to come and tell you that what, this is the area you're more suitable. You have to identify that area because during this job hunt journey, one of the thing was he was always telling me that what, do any job for the time being and then you can switch to your own career. But I knew that I have an experience which is unique because it's public sector transformation, and if I once get out of that space, it will be really hard for
Yeah.
me to get back.
Thank you so much. Really knowledgeable session with you, Umaira, in a very short time. I think you've covered a lot of things which are very pertinent for any newcomer. And I'm sure if there are folks out there who want to reach out to you for any questions in the field and any guidance, you would probably be able to entertain that. Would that you would be open to that?
Yes, I'll be very open. I do volunteer. Like it's not that I was volunteering while I was looking for a job. I still volunteer with 2 3 organizations. I even will volunteer within my own organization also because that is very important that we should have that lens of paying back also because
Absolutely.
where we all are today, we got that support and help from people, but we need to pay back. Regardless
Absolutely.
that we are in job, we all can help each other. Everybody has qualities and everybody has competencies. But yes, I'm on LinkedIn with the same name, Humaira Zahid, and I can share my email also if somebody wants to reach out. One skill I have developed during this job hunt phase was like, I do a lot of resume building workshops. So if somebody needs some help in terms of reviewing, because there's no fixed formula for a resume also, but there are few key ingredients that should be there, for that. So feel free to reach out if you need any help or advice. As I say, experiences are personal. So, I can advise as much as I have in terms of my experience.
Thank you so much, Humaira. And it's very interesting. You told a very good story. This is the first time our interview has actually gone to 9 minutes. So I'm sure somebody can learn from you as well as to how to tell a good story. But thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.